Hello and welcome back to Fandom Fridays, where we proceed to check out all the fanfics that are not pony related. Why? Because I have a feeling some of you out there just can't get enough of more JoJo stories. Well, we're not going to do any JoJo fics today. Instead, we're going to check up on the fandom that I missed out on talking about 2 years ago, Quantum Leap. God, I love this show. It's one of the things that made me really excited to check out time travel. I love everything about it. Some of the stories, the characterizations, Sam and Al, all of it is just a really good tale about trying to help others. Why? Not for any sense of own goal, but just because it's the right thing to do. This show was awesome. And luckily, there's been a lot of fanfics. As a matter of fact, I love this show so much that whenever I see a crossover with Quantum Leap, I immediately go, stop! This fic just got awesome. Quantum Leap reference. That is how much I love this series. And luckily for me, I just happened to find a really interesting Quantum Leap fanfic by one Bjackson. Fun name. Called Plan B. Let's get started. And yes, for the first time ever on this show, we are reading a fanfic from Archive of Our Own. Remember, Archive of Our Own. If you can't find it, it's probably here. Plan B by Bjackson. Chapter 1. Leaping through time felt a little bit like flying when Sam thought about it. Once he put right whatever went wrong in someone's life, he found himself being launched forward, catapulted through a quantum void, past decades of births, deaths, and earth-shatterings and minutiae, till he landed, sometimes roughly, in someone else's shoes. As he began to take form at whatever time he landed in now, that flying sensation didn't go away. In fact, the more aware of his surroundings he became, the more acute that sensation was. The wind was blowing his hair back from the sheer speed of which he was being propelled ahead. But once he got his bearings, a sense of giddiness came over him. That was actually kind of fun. He began to slow down as he moved upward, giving him time to look down at the bar holding him in place. Then he dropped. A small handful of people joined in Sam's terrifying shriek as they came hurtling down the track toward the ground, eventually slowing and clacking to a merciful stop. A panting Sam was clinging to the bar in front of him as if it were his last hope, knuckles turning pale. "Oh boy." "Oh, wow!" exclaimed the girl next to him as she stood up. "Alex, I wish you could see your face. That scared you really good." She was in her early teens, if that, slightly chubby, with curly red hair and pigtails. Slapping Sam on the shoulder, she let out a deep chuckle and climbed out of their cart. Somehow, Sam managed to extricate himself from his seat and hobble his lovely legs after her. As he was walking, Sam twisted around to see what hellish ride he had just been on. There sat an old wooden roller coaster, navy blue and proudly labeled The Screamer, a wiggly green lettering. Cute. He glanced skyward and silently cursed his leap's terrible timing. Why did he always have to leap in when something frightening or awkward was happening? Because sometimes Sam the writers just don't like ya. Why couldn't he just leap into a nice warm bed with everything he needed laid out for him? Was that so much to ask? Swiveling his head around, he took in the rest of his surroundings. He was at a fair. On a busy day, it seemed like, as people bustled by and laughed and ate cotton candy. The smell of popcorn clung to the air as Sam felt his stomach growl. Swell. Now he was nauseous and hungry. But maybe that was leftover wooziness from the leap in. He wondered if there was some rule about waiting 30 minutes after a leap to eat. "Hey, Alex, you coming?" It was the girl from before. She was walking backwards as she called to Sam from up ahead, arms outspread constantly. That confirmed he must be Alex. Yeah, wait up," Sam called as he jogged up to catch her. "You feeling okay?" asked the girl as he spun to face forward. "I've never seen you flip your wig like that on the screamer before." "Me? Oh, I'm fine," Sam said with a reassuring smile. I guess my stomach's not as strong as it used to be." He could only assume that this was a fair Alex and this girl had visited in the past. She gave him a confused look. What are you talking about? We just wrote it yesterday. Before Sam could stumble into much of a response, she was distracted by a booth. Pointing excitedly, she ran towards it and exclaimed, Far out! Hey, wait up! Sam called out as he rushed to catch up to whoever this ball of energy was. Girlfriend? Were they on a date? He crossed his fingers that they were brother and sister. Romantic entanglements were never Sam's favorite part of leaping, but especially so when the girl was young enough to be his daughter. Yikes! He shuddered at the thought. He was getting too old for leaping, wasn't he? When he caught up with the excitable redhead, he caught sight of the booth, hand-painted and proudly exclaiming, The world's hottest chili dog! A cartoon man underneath the lettering had waterfalls of tears streaming from his eyes as he spewed a stream of fire from his mouth. Sonic, down! Oh, come on! It's a nice chili dog! I need it! We gotta try it, Alex! The girl cried out as she hopped into the air. Sam rubbed the back of his neck uncertainly. I don't know. Maybe we should just... Tip, please! The girl piped up to the man, working the stand. She handed him some cash, and before Sam knew it, a greasy mess that probably had a hot dog underneath it somewhere was being shoved into his face. The smell of pepper slammed into him like a truck, and he coughed in surprise. The girl licked her lips and raised her chili dog to her mouth. We'll try it together, okay? On 3! The rumbling sound came from Sam's stomach and reminded him that he actually was pretty hungry. And until he knew more about why he was here, he should do what Alex would do. Besides, it couldn't be that bad. He liked spicy food all right, although he never had the opportunity to have the world's hottest anything. Hell, there's no time like the present to start being adventurous. Or, like the past, Sam corrected. He slowly looked at his chili dog and nodded, ready. 1, 2, 3. Once he stopped spewing, Sam moaned and held onto the edges of the wastebasket to catch his breath. Unsurprisingly, he didn't find himself liking the chili dog any better the second time around. Eating it was akin to swallowing gasoline and chasing it with a lit match, only slightly less fun. Several cups of water later, his mouth felt like it was on fire. He picked up another cup from the picnic bench next to him and took several generous gulps. Who in their right mind actually enjoyed eating this stuff? He's blue, has red sneakers, and is right now trying out one of the chili dogs. Sam is a whip! Funny, Sonic, funny. You know, when I was on shore leave in Bangkok, there was this dish we tried on a bet. When Hal's voice piped up next to him, Sam nearly choked on his water, which did no favors for his burning throat. The shorter Italian was puffing reflectively on a cigar, dressed respectably in a metallic gold suit and purple shirt. It was some kind of soup. I'm not sure what the actual name of it was. Something Thai, but we nicknamed it the Rocket Spread Glare. Because later on, it would feel like fireworks were coming out of your OW! Booster seat. Hiya, Sammy. Al threw out a little wave with a impish grin and shoved his hands into his pockets. Sam indulged another large swallow of water before responding. Oh, it feels like I melted my taste buds off. That's a pleasant mental image. Sam gave Al one of his infamously done looks. He was no mood for jokes. If you're not going to be useful, Al, then why did you... Hang on. How did you come here so quickly? You're never this early on the leap. What are you talking about? Al asked defensively as he threw out his arms. I throw up on plenty of leaps, especially if there's a girl involved. He lowered his eyes as Sam cocked his head in irritation. Then he added, But, as it happens, your files shot through the roof when you leaped in. I rushed into the imaging chamber as soon as I could to make sure you weren't getting squished by a car or shot or something. His smile returned. Stuck around for the atmosphere. Boy, I love the fair. Twirling around, he gave the area a nostalgic sweep of the eye. Reminds me of when I joined the circus as a boy. They had the working ticket stands, mostly, but sometimes I sneak over to the kissing booth and... Al, I'm not interested. Sam cut him off, as he always did when he knew Al was about to launch into another long story. He got to the point. Do you know what I left here to do? You barely got your feet wet when I was supposed to have time to figure that out, Al answered. To Sam's slight chagrin, he whipped out the hand leak out of his pocket with a flourish. Here's what we got so far. It's March 15th, 1968, and you've left it to Alex Donald. He's 14 years old. Soccer player, decent grades, grows up to be a pretty average Joe. I think it's safe to say that whatever you're here for, it's not Alex. Sam nodded. Okay, what about the girl I'm here with? Who's she? Al consented to handling. That girl would be Cadence Harper. She's Alex's best friend. The two of them grew up next door to each other. Sam let out a sigh of relief. Oh, thank God, I'm not dating a kid. Hey, champ! Sam was startled by a hand was placed on his shoulder. An overly cheery man around his age, with horn-rimmed glasses, was smiling at him. You're about ready to hit the old trail? Where's Cadence? This is your father, George Donald. Al provided, in a sense to Sam's questioning look. George shook Sam's hand brightly, and he shut his eyes and held back a groan. He might not be dating a kid, but he essentially became one again, which meant watchful parents, rules, and curfews, things he outgrown a long time ago. You in there, sport? His new father asked, as he gave him a playful ruffle of the hair. Sam forced a smile and took in a deep breath, something which didn't escape a snickering Al. Yeah, I'm ready. Key's just in the bathroom. She should be done! Key's proclaimed as he skipped over toward them cheerfully. She talked about as much warm as Sam had, but if she was feeling any other ill effects from the chili dog, she was hiding it well. Perfect! Let's go, kiddos! George slid his arms around both of them, squeezed gently, and pushed them forward. Leading it towards Sam, he said quietly, I know someone who's got to be into bed pretty soon. Yeah, this is where I leave you, Sam, Al said, as the imaging chamber door whooshed open behind him. Don't stay up past your bedtime, champ. With a infuriating wink, he disappeared into the future. I hope you didn't spoil your dinner at the fair, Muskin. I made your favorite. Alex's mother smiled wisely through her heavy makeup and pinched Sam's cheek. He gulped. Good Lord, what a nightmare. She seemed under the impression that Alex was 5 years old. Actually, Mom, can I get a rate check on dinner? I'm not feeling very well. Sam gave a smile to try and not hurt her feelings. Chili Dog was not sitting very well with him. He didn't want to risk throwing up again. He should have just told her he was full, because immediately she was giving an exaggerated frown and feeling his forehead. Oh, my stars! You're not getting sick, are you? Sam gently pulled away. No, I just ate something that didn't agree with me at all. Mrs. Donald stuck out her lips and materially brushed a strand of hair from his forehead. Well, if you're sure, I'm positive. Save some of my favorite food for me, will you? Mr. Donald stepped to the foot of the stairs. Sam was already ascending in hopes to lead to his bedroom. Don't stay up late now, too, buddy. You got school in the morning, and then practice after that. He wagged a patronizing finger at Sam. A kid's smile plastered on his face. You bet. He chuckled and turned around. Please let his room be close. Once Sam successfully located his bedroom, he had to lay down. The chili dog and his stomach were at war, and the hot dog was winning. Ugh. He never wanted to see a chili dog again. Before he lay down, however, he caught a glimpse of Alex's face in the mirror. He looked like he could grow up to be very handsome, although he was still in an awkward in-between stage. His cheeks were rosy, making him constantly look embarrassed. Or maybe that was Sam being embarrassed for him. Alex's room was about as well kept as any teenage boy's. A soccer ball rested atop the dresser, alongside a handful of horror action figures. Dracula and the Wolfman bared their fangs, while some sort of slime monster glared at him through its one eye. Next to that was a pile of comic books, resting in a precariously looking stack. Sam noted the stuffed animals next to him on the bed and rolled his eyes. Alex's parents really did baby him. Probably because he appeared to be an only child. Maybe Sam was here to grow him up a bit. With that thought running through his mind, he absentmindedly picked up a fluffy bat with an overbite and clutched it to his upset stomach. He'd have time to figure out where he was here to do later. Once he slept a little and felt better. Al would show up when it was objective. He always did. Sam had to remind himself not to be in such a hurry all the time. He never liked waiting around, but some R&R wouldn't hurt every once in a while. He could worry about it in the morning. In the middle of the night, Sam awoke with a sharp pain in his right side, feeling feverish and chilled. Great. Maybe he'd gotten food poisoning. That was just what he needed. Whatever it was, he felt nauseous and nauseous. When he sat up, the pain worsened and he had to double over. His stomach churned, and he groaned and covered his mouth. Pushing through the pain, he managed to stagger out of bed and into the hallway. But that was about as far as he went before the chili dog came back with a vengeance. Shortly after that, the lights came on, and Alex's parents came rushing over in their rooms. "Oh, monsters!" Mrs. Donald gasped as he placed a hand to his forehead. "Sweetheart, you're burning up!" "I tried to make it to the—" "Shh. Don't you worry about that." She cut off Sam as he rubbed his back. She turned to face her husband. "Jules, get the keys. We're taking him to the hospital." "I don't think that's necessary." Sam was starting to stand, but he stopped and groaned as he was stabbed in the side again. Maybe, he admitted to himself, there was some cause for concern. This didn't seem like food poisoning. In fact, he was beginning to recognize the signs and symptoms. And he hoped he was wrong in his self-diagnosis, because all of this seemed like appendicitis. Mr. Donald repeated in astonishment. "You know, in the long history of this show, I've done 2 appendicitis fanfics." "What is the deal?" The doctor nodded. "Yes. I am afraid Alex is going to need immediate surgery." Mrs. Donald gasped. "Wait!" Sam cut in nervously. "Are you absolutely sure appendicitis is what it is? Maybe, we can get a second opinion, or—" "I'm certain, Alex. I'm sorry. But if we don't remove your appendix before it bursts, you could die." Sam fell silent. The man before him was the second opinion. As a doctor himself, he knew he was right. In fact, he had memories of a previous sleep where he helped a woman on a plane who was suffering from appendicitis, and he nearly lost her. But he also knew that an you can't tell me you can't pronounce excuse Trixie. Trixie, I really don't think it. Yes, it's a necessity. I can't believe that after all these years, under all these fanfics, you can't pronunciate appendectomy. The surgery that involves removing the appendix!
That's appendectomy.
There, you see? You can't pronunciate it either! Shit! Get to work!
Trixie, give him a break. He is a teacher, not a nurse.
English teacher!
Exactly!
And he spent 2 years reading this! 2 years! Reading how many stories now? Several. He's even read one of your fics, mind you, that featured an appendectomy. That! You think you will learn? Just get out of my studio! Was a relatively common surgery and easy to recover from, especially when it was taken care of before the appendix ruptured. Still, that didn't mean he had to like it. Sam gave a small nod to his borrowed parents. "Okay, what are we waiting for?" "Sam, hey, I think he's coming too. Goosey, would you stop talking my ear off? I got it, jeez." Sam's eyes slowly slid open, and a very colorful sight burst into view. Al was hovering near his hospital bed, dressed in another amazingly tacky outfit. He wore a red plaid suit jacket over a matching set of blue shirt and pants, tied together with a black bolo tie and a twisted gold top. The hologram leaned in closer and raised his eyebrow. "Hey, kid. Back to the waking world?" Sam cleared his throat and eyed the cigar forgotten in Al's hand. "You're not supposed to smoke in here," he said groggily. Al blinked in confusion before Sam gave a small smirk to indicate he was joking. With a sigh of relief, Al gave a chortle. That's a good one, Sam. He smacked his forehead to the forehead. Jesus Christ, you had us worried back there at the project. Sorry, Sam said. He was still a little out of it. Don't say you're sorry, Sam. Okay, sorry. How are you feeling? I've been better, Sam admitted, running a hand over his face. But I guess I've been worse. That's the right attitude. You'll get your spunk back in no time. Al stated confidently, with a twinkle in his eye. He bounced on the balls of his feet, then looked as if he just remembered something, patting down the front of his jacket. Oh, I've got something for you. For me? Sam asked, confused. He wasn't that out of it. He knew Al was still a hologram. Uh-huh. Al conferred through his cigar in his teeth. He just produced a large card from his jacket. Everyone signed it for you. He held the card out for him to see. We can't actually give it to you, you know, but... He started apologetically. The card in front had a comical illustration of a frog in casts and bandages, reading, "Get well soon." Al opened it, and inside the frog was hopping from a lily pad, pleading, "Here's to the next leap forward!" The space around it was filled with signatures, and well wishes from the project staff, most of whom Sam couldn't remember. But he was incredibly touched all the same. His face cracked into a wide grin. That's great, Al. Thank you. And thank everyone else for me. It was nothing. Sam dismissed, sliding the card back into his jacket. Personally, I wanted to get you a card with a naked lady mudflaps, but I was outvoted. Sam chuckled, then immediately regretted and groaned in pain. Oh, Al, don't make me laugh. Sorry, Sam. Al grinned. Sam sighed and leaned back into his pillow, rolling his eyes at the ceiling. Just my luck. Of all the people in 1968 I could have leapt into, I had landed on one who has appendicitis. Nope, kid. This was entirely on you. Sam glanced down his nose at his friend. What? According to Ziggy, Alex Donald's medical records never showed him having appendicitis prior to your leap in. Al informed him as he took the handlink out of his pocket. And it's a good thing, too, because people might have had some questions if Alex needed his appendix removed twice. He pointed toward him with a cigar. So that means you were the lucky one with the Cracker Jack prize. Me? Sam questioned, dumbfounded. He was so used to gaining residual traits from the people he leapt into at this point. He never considered the possibility that he was the one with the appendicitis in the first place. Al gave the handlink a good, frustrated whack. Yeah, you was his royally screwed up things on our end. The handlink squealed as he shook it. This never happened in the original history, so now Ziggy has to reconfigure everything. You could have picked a better time for this, you know. I didn't choose for this to happen. Sam stopped back defensively. In the past, he had leaps where residuals from his hosts made things considerably more difficult. But he'd never given any thought to how his own health could affect a leap. In fact, he didn't think he had ever come into play. He knew now to take care of himself, and he was hardly ever sick. Well, whoever's fault it is, Al said, eyes sliding down from the handlink to a glaring Sam. Ziggy still has to rerun scenarios. We don't know what you're here yet, so just take it easy for now. Don't go running any marathons. Despite himself, Sam gave a small grin and rolled his eyes. Al smiled back and opened up the imaging chamber. Phew. I'll be back when we can figure out Plan B. He waved and hugged back forward to the doorway, and it was shut. Sam chuckled at the hop and groaned again. Ow, ow. Pen, deck, money. Appendectomy. Woohoo! We got it close! Oh, sorry guys. In between chapters, I was practicing saying a certain word. Oh, I think this is gonna rank right up there with economy. Get on with it! Chapter 2. To Sam's relief, he was told that he should be able to return home later that evening. If one were to look up a prime example of doctors being the worst patients, he would be it. Now that he could walk a little bit without assistance, he was ready to get up and get out of there. It wasn't that he disliked hospitals per se, but lying in bed simply left him with nothing to do. Luckily, his boredom came to an end when Cadence peeked her head through the door. Cadence! Sam smiled. Hey, Alex. Cadence greeted him excitedly. Can I come in? I wish you would. Nodding fervently, Cadence entered the room and stopped at the foot of the bed. She looked him up and down with awe. Well, does that hurt? A little bit. That's so boss! She breathed, thoroughly impressed. Sam grinned. So, how was school? Did anybody miss me? School was school. Cadence shrugged. She eyed her untied shoe thoughtfully, giddiness having worn off. Did something happen? Cadence sighed heavily and shook her head. No, nothing at school. It's just... She flopped herself down in the chair next to him. My dad's in town again. And you don't want to see him? Questioned Sam uncertainly. Where have you been the last 2 years? Cadence responded as if it was obvious. Sheepishly, Sam hoped he blamed his memory lapse on the pain medication. She went on. He showed up like everything was okay. Like he never left, you know? He had a birthday present for me. He's only a month late. She rolled her eyes. You know what he got me? A pink stuffed rabbit! She exclaimed, not waiting for Sam's guess. Can you believe it? I hate pink, and I'm too old for stuffed animals. As Sam remembered the stuffed animals in Alex's room with some more second-hand embarrassment, he shrugged and offered, Well, I'm sure he's trying. He wasn't sure what Cadence's father was really like, so he couldn't say one way or the other. Yeah, he's always trying, but he never gets it right. Cadence shook herself and shifted into a happier mode. Whatever, forget him. How long do you get out of school, huh? A month? Year? I'm not that lucky. Sam answered good-humoredly. I should be back on my feet pretty soon. I'm going home tonight. Right on! Someone cleared their throat, and he turned to see a red-headed woman in the doorway. Presumably Cadence's mother. Cadence turned back apologetically to Sam. Gotta go. But I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Okay. Feel better. See you later. She waved happily back out and skipped out. Cute kid. Ow! Sam noticed the hologram standing in the corner of the room, hands sent deep in his pockets. His friend slowly slid over to him, eyes flickering distractedly toward the door. How long have you been here? Al rubbed his ear. Not too long. How are you doing? Tired. But I'm feeling better already. I'll be discharged tonight, actually. That's good, Sam. That's good. Al responded, bobbing his head, avoiding eye contact. Sam warily noticed a sudden invasive posturing. It's good that you're feeling better, because we've run into a slight snag on the project. He pinched his fingers together. Sam frowned. What do you mean? I mean, we're having problems accessing Ziggy's databanks at the moment. What kind of problems accessing them? As in, we can't. Momentarily, Sam forgot where he was and tried to sit up, but he quickly received a painful reminder and leaped back again. What do you mean you can't access them? Pacing toward the wall, Al let out a very fake chuckle. See, it's funny story, Sam. You're going to love this one. Sam had a feeling he would not love this one. His eyes narrowed in suspicion as Al spun to face him with a manufactured innocence. I didn't mention this before, Al began, but Tia's out of town visiting her sister, and I have certain needs that have to be taken care of. Sam's brows were knit in confusion. Al mentioned towards his crotch. Down here. Sam screwed up his face and cocked his head. I know what you meant, Al. What does any of this have to do with Ziggy? I'm getting to it, Al said, lifting his hands to tell Sam to be patient. The annoyed quantum physicist looked at him expectantly. So, while Ziggy's doing her thing, sometimes I'm doing my thing. Oh my god, can we please stop talking about this? This is an important detail, Sam! So, anyway, I was about to do business as usual today, and I sent Ziggy to make a few downloads to help me along, and, well... He scratched his head and nervously laughed. She's got a virus! It's kind of funny if you think about it. It's an advanced computer capable of time recording and holographic projections. How does it get a virus? Sam was gobsmacked. For a moment he struggled to speak. He assumed he must be on some pretty strong meds, because he couldn't have had heard Al correctly. Slowly he asked, Ziggy got a virus because you were using her to download porn? Sam! Al exclaimed, offended. I can't believe you would think so little of me. He hooded his eyes and took a drag off his cigar. It was high-class nude photography. Al, you were using Ziggy, Sam stammered. A one-of-a-kind, multi-billion-dollar, parallel hypercomputer, my computer, to download. And now, take it easy, why didn't you use your own computer? Why did you have to use Ziggy? Because Ziggy runs the fastest. Al took on a defensive stance. Look, I don't exactly have a lot of time on my hands, running the project in. I can't believe you. I never heard of anything so unprofessional in my life. I was in my office. No one was looking. And it's not like I haven't done it before. Sam's jaw fell open. He didn't think it were possible to be more appalled than he already was. You've done this before? Many times. Is he never caught anything? Al quickly replied, with an emphatic wave of his hand. Sam pressed the breast of his nose, took a deep breath, and asked, Then why did it happen now? Ziggy has one of the most advanced firewalls in the world. Nothing should be able to get past it. Al shrugged a single shoulder. Well, it's her time of the month. Her what? You know. Al leaned forward. Updates. I'm trying my best not to laugh, guys. But this author's making it really hard. Which normally wouldn't be that much of an issue. But it just so happens, this time, one of the updates accidentally disabled her firewall. So, when you get down to it, this was Gushy's fault. That shouldn't happen either! Sam yelled, ignoring Al's blame game. The firewall I installed shouldn't be able to be turned off without authorization! That was the old firewall, Sam, Al pointed out. It might have been state-of-the-art 1995, but it's ancient now. We replaced it back in 98, so sometimes we run into bugs like this one. By now, Sam had his face buried into his hands. Al left him for half a day. No, suddenly his life's work was in samples. He slowly pulled his hands down his face, stressing the skin as stress short-circuited his thinking process. Chasing track once again, Al tried to be encouraging. But good news, Sam. The good news is the virus should be easy enough to get rid of. Unfortunately, Ziggy misinterpreted as someone hacking her system, which means we can use her in a limited capacity, but we can't access any of her database or have her run scenarios. Luckily, there's an override code we can enter to get her running full steam again. Great, Sam said through his fingers, suddenly more hopeful. Then enter it. Well, that's where you come in. Al started slowly, blinking across a smile. Me? See, in case of emergency, like say one of us is being held at gunpoint, the security code is in two parts that only you and I know. I have one part, and you, Al gestured to Sam, have the other. Now, if you could just tell me your part of the code, I can enter it in and get Ziggy running again. Easy peasy. He clapped his hands, splayed out his arms, and waited with a cheerful grin. Sam's brows were burrowed in confusion. Al's grin faltered. I don't remember any security code, Al. Al's arms dropped and he frowned. Oh, don't say that, Sam. Sam shrugged helplessly. I must have switched it. Sam, this is important. You have to remember the code! Isn't there another way you could get it? If there was, I wouldn't be picking your stinking Swiss cheese brain! Al yelled, his worry giving way to frustration. He put one hand to his hand and the other to his hip. Do I need to remind you whose fault it is that Ziggy got a virus in the first place? Sam asked resentfully. Al snuck a sideways glance at him from under his eyelids and remained quiet. Look, he sighed, rubbing his eyes. Did you at least figure out what I'm left here to do? Oh, no, Al responded. Sam rolled his head to one side. But we do have an idea. Before Ziggy locked up shop, she was able to determine that whatever it is you're here to change, it happens to one of to Alex's neighbors tomorrow night. Tomorrow night? Right. And if you're smart, Sam, all you gotta do is visit your new neighbors, do some snooping around, and you can puzzle out this lead to yourself. At least until we figure out the Ziggy situation. Do some snooping? Sam repeated incredulously. Al, I can barely walk right now. How am I supposed to do that? And you make a good point. And even if I could, Sam fretted, how am I supposed to keep an eye on all of my neighbors? I can't look into everything in their lives. He sighed, waited a beat, then suddenly had an idea. He looked over at Al, whose mouth was slanted in thought, as he stared at the wall. But you can. Al pointed his cigar to his chest. Me? Yeah, you can spy out my neighbors, follow them around. What good am I going to do? I'm a hologram. You can do some snooping. You can look in on them without knowing the difference, then tell me what you find out. Sam, Al said in such a low voice, shaking his head. I don't think that's such a good idea. Come on, Al, Sam pleaded. You owe me after getting us into this. I can't do this by myself. It was a combination of guilt and that damn puppy dog look that Sam was giving him that made Al give in. He blew down a breath and relented. Fine. I can take a look around. He rolled his eyes in his friend's smug smile. Meanwhile, try to remember the code, Sam. He tapped his temple, opened the imaging chamber, and left. Sir, easy peasy. Sam racked his brain for his half of the override code. He shut his eyes a moment and nodded off. Al squinted through the tendrils of smoke at a faded wooden duck sitting on the shelf. As he stole a look at the old woman reading in her rocking chair, she spun herself around and began to amble through the rest of the house. He wasn't sure what kind of clues he was supposed to be looking for, but the only danger here at the moment was catching a critical case of the snores. It wasn't entirely his fault, he reasoned himself. He didn't know the firewall was disabled, or he never would have had Ziggy downloading spank material. At least, not until it was switched back on. Then he could get back to debugging the hard drive. Sam had no business getting that uptight about it. It's not if Mr. Farm Boy hadn't buttered the corn every once in a while. That aside, that would have been A-okay if the other project director could just hold on to a thought for any decent amount of time. Swiss cheesing was a real pain in the ass. How was he going to get out of this one? But since Al couldn't do anything further on the Ziggy front, he might as well go with Sam's plan and let Goosey try to work his magic. Al studied the black and white pictures hung on the wall. A much younger version of the old woman smiled back at him, arm in arm with her husband in front of the house. The same husband stood stoic in another photo, adorned in a crisp army uniform. Next to that hung a framed purple heart. Al stopped, took his in, and saw a sympathetic look toward a woman he left in the living room. She was all alone. It was quiet here for now, and there were no more houses to investigate. Al cast another glance down the hall and faced through the door. In stark contrast, the house next door was all noise and motion. Out of instinct, Al jumped out of the way as the shrinking twin boys ran past him, followed closely by a tabby cat and a barking shaggy dog. A cockatiel squawked from its cage by the ugly brown couch. Sly and the family stone blared loudly from a room to his right, and a frustrated mother in hair rollers banged on the door. Lacey! She shouted, turn out that video! You want to annoy all the neighbors? Oh, Mom! Came a muffled whine from inside. Listen to your mother! A tall, mustached man said sternly as he walked past. The volume of the music lowered just as the barking started up again, and Al jumped. The dog returned and watched him curiously, wagging his tail. Oh, I forgot you could see me. Al breathed with a sigh of relief. I don't suppose you can tell me what this sleep is about. The dog wolfed and sat down. Ruff! Al scratched his temple. I didn't think so.
What's your name?
A surprised Al twisted his head to see a little boy about 5 standing behind him. Great. Now he had 2 spies to get around. Just like the dog, the little boy could see him. Turning to face the tyke, Al crouched down at eye level. Well, my name is Albert. You could call me Al. Gold digger, gold digger. But who would be my bodyguard? Who would be a long lost pal? You could call me Al.
And how long were you waiting to do that joke?
Years.
Freddy?
The little boy said quietly. Freddy, that's a good name.
Are you my friend?
Freddy asked somewhat slyly, clutching a toy lizard to him. Al smiled warmly. Yeah, Freddy, I'm your friend. But the thing is, I'm an imaginary friend, so only you can see or hear me.
Buddy, too.
Freddy said as he pointed to the dog, who continued to wag his tail at Al. Acknowledging the dog with an incline of his head, Al said, Right, and Buddy too. Now, I'm just visiting for a little while before I go back to, imaginary land, so I won't be here too long. He leaned in toward Freddy with a look of importance. Until then, you've got to keep me a secret, okay? Can you do that for me? Freddy nodded fervently, and Al grinned. Thanks a million, Freddy. The fire alarm went off, and smoke curled into the room, and Al stood up with panic. Could this be it? Was there a fire? Shouldn't this happen tomorrow? Oh no, the chicken! Al heard the mother yell. He held his stomach in relief as the alarm pounded his eardrums. The sound of crickets floated in from Sam's window. Night had fallen and he was back at Alex's house, propped up as comfortably as he could in a mound of soft pillows, staring out the window with a pair of binoculars. At last, he could do something. Not that he could see much in the dark, but he was eager to finally get this leap underway. Besides, only having until tomorrow night didn't give him much time. He pondered this leap had something to do with Cadence and her father. She was the only neighbor he knew anything about at this point, so that's all he had to work with. Maybe she and her father had gotten into a fight and things had gotten physical. The way Cadence talked about him didn't make him seem abusive, though just neglectful. Then again, maybe there wasn't anything violent about this leap at all. Cadence could run away tomorrow night, or make some mistake in the heat of the moment. Yes, those were the kind of leaps Sam preferred. No suicides, no murders, just the need for a push in the right direction, with no threat of injury or death. Or maybe someone outside had a body in a bag. Alarmed, Sam tensed out and tried to make out what he was seeing in the darkness. The silhouette of a man struggled with something heavy as he dragged it across the pavement and towards his front door. Sam couldn't be sure, but in the pitch black, it looked like something was sticking out. An arm! The silhouette glanced behind him, shoved the bag into the house, and slammed the door. The binoculars dropped into Sam's lap. Maybe it was already too late. Okay! Who here has seen Rear Window? Anybody? Anybody? That's me. I'm just thinking. This is making me think of Rear Window really bad. Sam, Chapter 3. You? Hello? Sam reluctantly pried his eyes open, to find Al waving the hand link in front of his face. The dancing lights made him blink. Hey, wakey wakey, eggs and bacon. Really? Al, really? Time to get up, Sam. Let's go. Al looked out the window, ponderously, as Sam rubbed his eyes against the sun, now shining in. What time is it? Sam gristed as he adjusted himself. A little past 4. In the morning? No, 4 p.m. What? Sam asked with surprise, now more awake. With considerable discomfort, he managed to prop himself into a sitting position. I slept in that late? Yep, snooze the day away, which is why we need to get started. Al clapped his hands together. Up and at 'em! Sam tilted his head and pursed his lips, figuratively speaking. I'm up. Sam noticed a pitcher and a glass of water he had been placed on the nightstand by Alex's dutiful mother while he was asleep. He reached over for a drink. time is not on our side here. So it'll be really helpful if you remember the code. Al tried again helpfully. Sam looked over at his cup like a child who had disappointed his father, swallowing and twisting his mouth. Al took this as a no and sighed. Well, it was a long shot, but there's no harm in trying. Did you find anything about my neighbors? Sure did. While you were casting some Z's in here, I've been spending all day running around 1968. Al dabbed his cigar out. And let me tell you something. It's not easy keeping track of all these people with no supercomputer to log into them. Lord help me. I'm actually starting to miss that bucket of bolts. He rolled his shoulders as he soaked in his own horrific admission. A change of topic was in order. Do you know how many kids live in that house over there? His cigar had wavered down the wall, facing the house across the street. 5! 5 kids! And another one on the way. I'll tell you one thing, Sam. Mr. and Mrs. Donovan might be able to give me a run for my money in the bedroom department. Who? The Donovans. Your neighbors over there. Al noticed Sam's questioning look. What do you think I've been doing this whole time? I overheard their names following them around town. Let's see. There's, Helen, Charles, Freddie, Paul, Lacey Kin, and Judd. Not to mention... Okay, I get the picture. Sam interrupted. What did you find out? Well, for one thing, Lacey needs to raise her standards for who she dates. Because this guy, I'm telling you, Sam, he's a total geek! Al shook his head in disbelief. Sam was growing less patient by the minute. I mean, did you find anything relevant? Well, nothing in particular about the Donovans. There's an old woman who lives behind you. I didn't find out her name. Might be something that happens to her since she's all alone there. Not even any family. How do you know that? They might live somewhere else. Al shook his head no. There's no board games, no candy around the house. And trust me, Sam, grandparents always keep candy and games around for the grandkids. She's got no one. All she's done all day is sit by the window and read. Sam took this in and nodded in acknowledgement. What about Cadence? She seemed to have something going on between her and her father. Al shrugged. She was at school all day. I didn't see her father. The two of them fell silent for a moment. It was becoming increasingly clear that Al had found no solid leads this afternoon, and time was running short. Was left one more to ask about. Sam remembered the chilling scene he witnessed last night. He swallowed and asked, And what about over there? He pointed nervously to the window. Al glanced back. What? Oh, over there? I didn't see anyone home. I did. Al cocked a concerned eyebrow at Sam's sudden change of mood and took a step forward. Sam? I saw something last night. Sam informed him hesitantly. I saw whoever lives there dragging something inside. It kind of looked like a what? A body. A body?! The hologram repeated, very tense. What do you mean? Kind of looked like. They were only kind of dead? I don't know, Al. Sam replied, shaking his head. It was dark. I couldn't really see what it was exactly. It's just, looked like a body. You didn't think that this was worth mentioning before we played 20 questions, Sam? Asked Al in a noise. Did it cross your mind that maybe this leap has something to do with the murderer next door? Yes, probably, sighed Sam, becoming irritated himself. But that doesn't mean one of the other neighbors are involved. What if he goes after one of them? And if he's a murderer at all? I still don't know what I saw. I mean, it was dark, I was tired and medicated, and... He threw out his hands. I mean, I don't know! You didn't see anything suspicious in his house, did you? Suspicious like a dead body? Al asked sarcastically, quirking an eyebrow. I would have mentioned something by now. Maybe he's hidden it somewhere. Al shuddered and his imagination ran wild. Yeah, that gives me the willies. He's probably hidden in some basement full of skeletons. You have to look around again. Al jumped. What? Look for the body, Al. Sam told him matter-of-factly. If this guy killed someone, we're going to need proof. I don't think I could do that, Sam. Al rubbed the back of his neck and began to pace. Sam frowned. Why not? You're a hologram. He can't do anything to you. Because I don't want to be around dead things. Al stayed quietly to the carpet, giving a half-started shrug. It's icky. Al, do this for me, please. Al tried to avoid Sam's pleading gaze, but he was locked in once again. He screwed up his mouth and sighed through his nose. The head of a very squirrely hologram peeked through the wall of their suspected killer's basement. Stepping blindly into the dark, he took back what he said. He wasn't missing Ziggy at all. In fact, as he fully came back online anytime soon, he dismantled her himself. Even as a hologram, he didn't exactly warm up to the idea of digging up corpses in basements. This should have been Sam's job. How exactly did he get roped into this anyway? Now, if they only could see anything in this basement. Something tapped against Sam's window, and he jumped, looking up to see Cadence grinning from outside and rapidly motioning him to open up. Listening as he leaned forward, he managed to unlock the window so she could let herself in. He flinched as she crawled over to the bed, and him along with it. Al, Cadence, what are you doing here?
Wow, sorry. Didn't mean to hurt you.
Sam grinned forgivingly. It's okay. Just use the front door next time.
Force of habit,
Cadence exclaimed, throwing her arms up.
You know I always use the window. Oh!
She slid her bag from her shoulder and rummaged inside.
I almost forgot. I brought you your homework.
After a moment, her arms shot toward him with a handful of wrinkled papers, grasped in hand. Gee, thanks. Sam accepted the mess with amusement, placing Alex's homework on the nightstand. With Cadence's scattered mannerisms, he was just lucky the papers arrived in one piece. The excitable teenager jumped onto the end of the bed, crossing her legs and sitting in style.
Going star crazy yet?
Sam squinted in bewilderment. Am I going what?
Star crazy,
Cadence said again. She set down her bottom lip and thought.
My mom told me about it. Like when someone's too cooped up for too long and they wig out.
You mean stir crazy. Sam corrected her as he tried not to laugh. Wait a minute. You realize what they mean?
Oh, they're right. I got it too.
We got cabin fever! We got cabin fever! And we're all driving that.
That too. Come on. You know you missed me.
Sam couldn't hold back his chuckle this time, and he lightly held his sore side. Yeah, okay, yeah, I missed you. Cadence flashed a half-satisfied grin. Now that he thought about it, this was his opportunity to talk to her about her father. If this wasn't what he linked in for, it certainly couldn't help to mend the relationship. Besides, did he have anything else to do at the moment? You see your dad again today? Cadence fell silent and played with her shoelaces.
Nah, tell Mom I didn't want to see him.
Why not? Cadence saw him a look.
You know why not. You can't pretend he didn't leave. It doesn't make it okay.
Maybe not. But you don't think this is his way of trying to make up for it?
I don't know. Maybe.
You only have one father, Cadence.
He left us!
He's here now. Sam pointed out softly. When my father... He stopped himself. It was Alex Donald, not Sam Beckett, he reminded himself. I had a friend who moved away to college. And while he was gone, his father passed away. He always regretted not being there for him near the end.
My father's not going to die. Not now, anyway.
Maybe, maybe not. The point is, you never know how much time you have left with someone. If that person loves you, you don't want to lose that time. Cadence was silent again. She began to tie up her loose shoelaces as he thought over what Sam had said. Finally, she gave a crisp nod and said,
Okay.
Okay. Sam raised his eyebrows.
Okay, I'll see him.
She looked up and cracked a smile. Okay, then. Sam repeated cheerfully, nodding back. Jeez Louise! This place was spooky. Admittedly, Al couldn't make out much in the shadows. But that's probably why he had goosebumps in the first place. In his head, whatever he was looking at couldn't have been anything. A bony figure, a jar of brains. In reality, he had to tell himself, the finger was probably a part of an old sewing machine. And those mason jars were probably filled with nothing but canned fruit. Yeah, he and Sam sure had some wild imaginations in this sleep. The light switched on, and the jar most certainly did not contain fruit. A field pig stared blankly at him from inside the murky juices. He shrieked and hopped back. The workbench he landed on it contained something even worse. A pile of bones on top. He yelled and backed up yet again. Holy smokes! Shuffle. Clink! Shuffle. Clink! Al looked up in terror as he saw the owner of the house shambling downstairs, draped in chains and covered in red. The trembling hologram gasped, and he could have sworn the man looked straight at him. He wasn't going to wait around to find out. He took off through the wall and shot towards Sam's house. He's a killer! He's a killer! He's a killer! Al yelled as he tore through the wall and flapped his arms at a startled Sam. Al, what? I checked out the basement, and you're right. This guy is bad news. Al paced restlessly against the bed. He were tangible. He'd be burning a hole in the carpet. It was horrible. He had bones on the table, some poor little piggy in a jar, and blood, Sam. From human sacrifices, Sam. All over him, Sam! Sam! Ow! Sam shouted, bracing his hands. Calm down. Are you sure what you saw? Yes! Al yelled, jerking to a stop. I'm telling you, it's Creeksville, USA over there. Sam nodded resolve. Okay, we'll get the police. And tell them what? How are you supposed to know anything about in this nozzle's basement? You've been stuck here in bed all day. I'll just tell them the truth, Sam explained sensibly. That I saw something last night that seemed suspicious. As if on cue, the sound of a truck revved up, rumbled from outside. He looked out the window to see his neighbor driving away. Oh no, he's leaving! Good riddance, muttered the hologram, leaning his head through the wall. Sam's mouth thinned. He had no way to lock onto her would-be murderer. Al, he could be going after his next victim! Al's eyes widened as he caught on. He anxiously rubbed the side of his face. Jeez, you're right. But how do we know what he's going after? We don't have access to Sinky's records. Sam thought for a moment, formulating a plan. Okay, I'll get the police to look for his truck. I remember the license plate. Meanwhile, you keep Watson outside in case he comes back. You got it. With a short nod, Al was stepping through the wall. Sam was already turning his head towards the door. Miss, Mom! Mom! He didn't have long to wait before Alex's stoning mother was rushing inside.
What is it, sweetie?
She noticed Sam's concerned expression, hurried to his side.
What's wrong? What can Mommy do to help?
Mom, we need to call 911.
Call what now?
I mean, the police. Call the police. Sam corrected himself. He had to remember what year he was in. Mrs. Donald gasped.
The police? Whatever for?
She began to feel his forehead for a temperature, and he gently stopped her. Listen to me, Mom. Our neighbor over there, he motioned towards the window.
Mr. Killen?
Yes, Mr. Killen. Killen? Really? Sam mentally groaned. Him. He's a murderer, and I have reason to believe he's going to kill someone else tonight. Mrs. Donald sat there for a moment, eyes wide. Then she giggled.
Oliver, a murderer? Alice, what's gotten to you? We've known Mr. Killen for years.
Maybe we don't know him as well as we think we know him. I saw him with a body last night. Mrs. Donald smirked and nodded, straightening out Sam's bedsheets.
Oh, you did you? Out your window.
Sam's shoulders sank as he realized he wasn't taking him seriously. I'm telling you the truth. He's dangerous! His borrowed mother hummed an acknowledgement and began to tidy up his dresser.
I see. You didn't happen to be reading one of these when you saw him,
She held up one of Alex's comics. A comic where the cover loudly proclaimed, My Neighbor, the Vampire! Starring Blade. No! Sam exclaimed, stalled Jack. This isn't a joke. I really saw it!
Of course he did,
Mrs. Donald said with a patronizing wink. She crossed over to the nightstand and poured him another glass of water, holding out a set of pills.
You just get some rest now, Nutkin.
Mrs. Mom! Sam protested.
If you don't want to take them, that's up to you. But Mr. Rosenthrum said that they make you feel better.
She set the pills down on the nightstand, kissed his forehead, and headed for the door.
I'll be here to check on you again soon.
But... Sam leaned forward and winced. The door closed shut. Al breathed in fumes from the cigar, chewing nervously and bouncing on his heels. He just felt sort of useless, simply standing there doing nothing. Curiously, he looked up towards the imaging chamber and asked, "Hey, Goosey, what's your progress with Ziggy? We could really use a break right about now." A pause as he listened to the nervous programmer. He closed his eyes. "Of course not. That would make things too easy, wouldn't it?" He startled when he heard a rustling nearby, expecting to see Norman Bates on his way back to the Leatherface residence. Instead, he saw someone else, a man dressed in black, glancing carelessly over his shoulder and chuckling in the bushes at Donovan's house. Al narrowed an eye at him. "And what are you up to, knuckle nose?" The man slowly opened the window and crawled inside. Sparing another look over his shoulder toward the house next door to Sam, Al cautiously crept over to the suspicious trespasser. Now what? Sam tapped his fingers impatiently as he tried to figure out what to do. Whoever was going to get killed, they were running out of time. The sun had already set outside and plunged the neighborhood into darkness. Well, he had to make the call himself then. He just had to make it to the kitchen without getting noticed by his over-nurturing parents, who would most certainly stop him from calling now that they thought he was simply being an over-imaginative teenager. That is, if he made it that far. He could walk around a little, but he wasn't exactly moving like the Flash. Yeesh, now he was talking comics.
Speaking of which, I think I saw that issue on atop the fourth wall at one point.
Moving the sheets, pressing his lips together, Sam steeled himself and swung his legs over the side of the bed. Immediately, he was awarded with more stabbing pain in his side. It took a moment to breathe, heard the clunk of a car door being shut. Outside, Oliver Killian was escorting a lovely young blonde from his truck toward his front door. Sam tensed up. Mr. Killian already had his next victim. He realized with despair there wasn't time to call the police now. If he didn't act right away, this girl was good as dead. Oh boy. With a groan, Sam managed to painstakingly pull himself to his feet. Ow! Oh yeah, that smarts. He squeezed his eyes shut and wobbled over to the wall. Once he was steadying himself, he began to shuffle along the wall toward the door. He cautiously peered into the hallway. Critically, he saw Mrs. and Mr. Donald chatting together and standing exactly where he needed to go. No way he'd make it out unseen. An unpleasant thought occurred to him. He swung his head back toward the window Keats had climbed through only a couple of hours ago. Thud! Sam bit back a yell as he landed heavily on his feet, collapsing to the ground and cradling his side. He lost his grip on the trellis, and still didn't expect to quite make the entire climb down from the second story. Oh, son of a... He hissed through his teeth and lifted out his pajama shirt to expand his bandage. He looked all right, for now, but he was sure he had pulled some stitches. He glared at the trellis, as if somehow it was its fault he had fallen. Ow! He whispered as he pulled himself up, gazing through the night at the Italian admiral. No such luck. Damn it! Where the hell is he? Where a hologram was when you needed one. That did it. Al was on his list now. They wouldn't be in half of this mess if it weren't for him. Sam shook his head and trudged towards the Killen house, nosing a window leading to the basement. Thinking Mr. Killen might have the young woman there, he shuffled onto his hands and knees and peered through the dusty glass. Two shapes moved together through the room, but all Sam could make out through the dirt and grime were blurred colors. He cut his hands to the window, as if somehow could improve his vision, pressing his way on the glass. Something in the basement fell and broke. Sam startled. The window burst open and he tumbled inside. Al stamped his foot and shook his head. Of all the low-down, dirty, rotten things to do, stealing from a kid's piggy bank has got to be one of the lowest! He grimaced in disgust and leaned next to the unknowing burglar, blowing holographic smoke into his face. The thief was greedily emptying a faded blue piggy bank that had been left on the living room shelf. They ought to charge you for being heartless and lock you up for 1,000,000 years. This really galled him. How could someone take advantage of a nice family? Maybe he was taking it a bit personally. He had grown attached to the Donovans after following them around all day. They reminded him of the kind of family he always wanted. A complete chaotic mess.
But a mess that loved each other.
And they were being robbed by a complete scuzzball. He heard the sound of movement from the kitchen, and both the phonogram and thief turned in surprise. Al's eyes widened. He assumed the missing vehicle in front of the dolphins were all out, but evidently someone was still home. The man took out a gun, and Al's eyes nearly popped out of his skull. He really blown it on this one. Hoping to beat the burglar, Al jogged through the kitchen door, and his heart sank. Little Freddy stood in the kitchen, rearranging the number and letter magnets on the fridge. He grinned when he saw his new friend face into the room.
Hi, Al!
Shh, keep it down, Al whispered urgently, glancing back and stooping down next to the little boy. Freddy, what are you doing here? Where are your parents?
The movies!
What? Al asked with alarm. Who's watching you?
Lacey.
The boy responded quietly, frightened of Al's tone. He hugged his lizard to him. Al looked heartbroken. He forced himself to calm his voice. Oh, Freddy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. But you need to listen up, okay? This is really important imaginary friend business. Freddy nodded, and Al gave it a courtesy grin. Good boy. He looked back at the door again. The only other exit led outside. He licked his lips and returned his attention to Freddy. We're going to play a game, Freddy. You like games? Freddy nodded excitedly. Good, me too. We're going to play cops and robbers. And right now, there's a robber in the next room. He pointed to the door, and the little boy looked on with big eyes. So what I need you to do is to follow me, so we can get this very nice lady to call the cops to come get him. Understand? Freddy thought for a moment, then nodded again. Al smiled. That's great, Freddy. First, we gotta go outside. Thanks, Al! Sam winced as he placed an ice pack to his side, feeling pretty foolish. He was sitting in a chair in the basement, being stared at by two amused bystanders to his ungrateful break-in. Oliver Kill and Fizz sweeping the broken jar from the floor, and the blonde woman played with her peace necklace. So, what you're telling me is all of this? Sam motioned towards the bones, the jars, and the other macabre items. Is some sort of art project? Okay, who saw that coming? Raise your hands. Come on, who all saw that coming? You saw that joke coming.
Oh, no.
Oliver insisted pretentiously.
It's not just art. It's performance art. It means something different. There's a message.
Which is... Sam stared in confusion at the can of red paint and the cow skull resting on top of it. Besides that, a crude statue stretched its arm toward him through a plastic bag.
That, like, violence isn't the answer.
The woman piped impatiently.
Our kids are being sent off to war, and what are we learning? Nothing, man. So this is just our way of protesting, of getting the word out there.
C and Oliver smiled proudly at each other.
We didn't kill anybody, if that's what you're getting at.
Oliver said with a smirk. Sam grinned sheepishly.
I don't know what to say.
I feel like an idiot. Not as big of an idiot as I feel right now. Dan shook his head to see Al in the room now, sifting anxiously. Al?
Who?
Sam, we blew it. Al yelled in a panic. That thing you leapt into to stop isn't here. It's at Donovan's. And if you don't get over there right now, someone's going to get shot. He waved his arms frantically toward the wall. Immediately, Sam started to get up.
Hey, take it easy, the blonde said. Where are you going?
Can I use the phone? No, Sam. The cops are already on the way. You gotta get moving now! Al ran through the wall again and disappeared. Never mind, Sam said quickly, traversing through the window. I don't have time to explain. Sorry, I thought you were a murderer. As he struggled to crawl out, a confused Oliver gave him an extra push onto the grass outside. Thanks a lot! Sam winced, and he hobbled out toward the Donovan house. Lordy, was he out of shape. After running back and forth from house to house, Al was panting for breath. This sleep sure was giving him a workout. He scoped the living room, but the burglar was gone. Where did that nozzle go? He began to search the house. Bingo! The slime ball was raiding the kitchen, having found a coffee can stuck with caps to the top of the fridge. He was preoccupied for now, which meant Sam had time to tell Sam to warn Lacey and get her out of there. That was the plan, anyway. The door opened. Freddy, are you? Al spun around in shock, and the burglar pulled his gun out again. Lacey stood, frozen in fear in the doorway. Lacey! Lacey! Get out of there! Al shouted helplessly. The burglar fired, just as Sam came barreling into Lacey, toppling the two of them to the ground. Al watched through his fingers. Sam! Thank God! Uh-oh. The burglar pointed his gun at the two of them on the floor. Sam! Sam, you gotta get up! Sam groaned and tried to move. But he definitely pulled more than a few stitches this time. Through plain, bleared eyes, he could see the gun being aimed at him, and prepared for the worst. Something barked and snarled, and Buddy came howling in, clapping his dogs around the burglar's wrists. The gun dropped uselessly to the ground, as the thief yelled in pain. Al threw his hands triumphantly in the air. Attaboy, Buddy! Attaboy! The lucky break Sam needed. He slid over to the gun and grabbed it, aiming at the man who was still struggling the dog. It's over! Sam yelled. The man froze, and Buddy backed away, licking his chops and sitting loyally next to Al. Al smiled proudly. Good dog. You were so brave yesterday, Freddy, Al said with a big smile, once again on bended knee next to the little boy. The family was crowded into the living room, around Lacey as he shared her exciting story with them. Freddy apparently was bored with the story, playing by himself in the corner when Al arrived to visit him. You did a good job at playing that game with me. I'm real proud of you. Freddy smiled shyly again, ducking his head. He picked up a familiar wooden duck and held it off to show off to Al. Was that Freddy? Oh, that's real nice. Did that nice lady from yesterday give it to you? Freddy nodded yes. That was really kind of her. If you visit her again, don't you think? After a moment of thought, Freddy bobbed his head again. I like her. I like her too, Freddy, Al said with a grin. Yet again on this leap, Sam found himself tucked in Alice's bed. After fuzzing his way through an explanation about his harrowing adventure last night, and some painful restitching of his incision, he had been sent to bed with strict orders from his parents to stay put. Of course, these orders were also said through several more embarrassing hugs, kisses from our frazzled Mrs. O'Donnell. Sam couldn't be too upset. Considering the turn of events, Oliver Killen wasn't a murderer, and Lacey Donovan was alive. And outside, you could see Cadence and her father driving down the street, talking and laughing. It seemed like Cadence had given her father a second chance after all. Looks like you saved everyone, and Tiny Tim on this one, Sam, Alf said from beside the bed. The two of them watched the car turn down the road. Sam smiled at him. Al shrugged suspiciously. Sam smirked. Well, you helped a little. Al shifted his weight onto his other leg. I wish I knew why you hadn't left. Well, we still can't access Ziggy's databanks, and Goosey's running out of ideas. I don't know how we're going to fix this one, Sam. He stuffed his hands in his pockets and fell into a despondent silence. A brief pause and furrowed his brows as something suddenly hit him. A63J900428. Huh? That's the security code. Sam answered, surprised at himself. Al blinked and took out the hand link. What was that again? Sam repeated the numbers, and Al plunked them into the hand link. You getting this, Goosey? He waited. Then he went to Sam. I can't believe it. It worked. How the hell did you remember that? Sam furrowed his brows, thought for a moment, then laughed. Held his sight again, but it didn't kill his good mood. He grinned at Al. It was on the fridge. What? As a Donovan's. The magnet's on the fridge. It was the code. Al went white with disbelief, as he remembered Freddy playing with the magnets the night before. He clapped his hands to his head. How the hell did that happen? He stared at Sam, dumbfounded, who simply smiled back at him and left. When Sam woke up a few minutes later, he found himself in a woman's body. Kimber, are you okay? Kimber? Oh boy. The end. Wow, that was a pretty impressive fic and actually pretty fun and enjoyable. Gosh, I hope we can find out more from this author. I wonder who they are. Wait a minute. B.J. Jackson? Jackson is the same last name as Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson played a werewolf on Thriller. Werewolves were the main antagonists of the Howling series. The Howling series was reviewed in complete total by Lupa. Oscurus Lupa is another name for werewolf. Werewolf Jackson. Oh my God! BJ Jackson is Oscurus Lupa. But a twist. Anyway, on to the review. You know what I do love? I do love it when I find a really, really good fanfic that feels like an episode. Especially when it comes to Quantum Leap, since, as I've said, it's one of my favorite sci-fi series of all time. And this is no exception. Al's character is perfectly funny, comical, and witty, able to keep us entertained throughout the entire story. Sam, of course, is very kind-hearted and sweet, always willing to help out anybody however he can, wherever he can. The plot has some amusing twists, even if I could see it automatically, but sometimes when it comes to these type of twists, it's not so much the story that's important, it's the characters. And Sam and Al's interactions made this all worth it. Everybody was a character, the grammar was perfect, and the jokes all flew in smoothly. The story was a fun and engaging read, and I'd like to thank Oscurus Lupa for sharing this with us. Well, that was one down, thousands more to go. I'll see you all next time.